So we're continuing our look at the playoff previews for the first round of the OHL playoffs that get underway on Thursday. And let's take a look now at the series between the Kitchener Rangers and the Flint Firebirds. Kitchener finishing third in the West with 100 points, while the Firebirds sixth in the Western Conference. Now, because Windsor won their division, that's why they're second in the conference. And even though Kitchener had more points than the Spitfires, that's why they're sitting in third. So I know it does look a little off when you see a team with more points finishing below the other, but that's why the Spitfires are ahead of the Kitchener Rangers when it comes to the Western Conference standings. And for the Rangers, they had a pretty good record this year, 3-0-1 against the Flint Firebirds. Their last meeting back on January 31st. It was in Flint where Kitchener won that game in a shootout by a score of 3-2. And looking at the past meetings, 3 out of the 4 went into extra time, and all 4 games were settled by a single goal. So, yes, Kitchener finished well ahead of Flint in the regular season standings, but the Firebirds have played Kitchener very tight. So, this series, I think, could be a little more interesting than some people are writing off the Flint Firebirds right now. Kitchener, though, over their last 10, 7-2-0-1 is their record. Well, the Flint Firebirds just 3-7 over their last 10. So the Firebirds limping into the playoffs. It felt like they were on the verge of clinching a playoff spot for about 2 weeks. They needed 1 point or another team's loss, and that's what it came down to. The Sarnia Sting losing in Windsor, and that clinched the Firebirds' playoff spot. So for Flint, they got to turn things around quickly here if they're going to be able to compete with the Kitchener Rangers. But playoffs usually bring the best out of players, and we'll see if that's the case for the Flint Firebirds. Breaking down the stats in this series, the Kitchener Rangers, their power play was ranked 11th in the OHL at 22%, whereas the Firebirds, 14.4%, which was 18th. The power play was a struggle all year long from the Flint Firebirds. This team just had issues getting that figured out. On the penalty kill, Kitchener, the second best penalty kill unit at 84.8%. And for the Firebirds, their penalty kill, 77.6%, which was 12th in the OHL. Looking at the goals for, Kitchener had no problems finding the back of the net, 254 goals for, while Flint, 229. On the goals against, Kitchener gave up the second fewest with 183, while the Firebirds gave up 249 goals during the season. So, yes, the stats are favoring the Kitchener Rangers here. And then when you look at the penalty minutes, Kitchener only took 785 penalty minutes during the regular season, while Flint, 935 penalty minutes, which is 5th most during the regular season. So the Kitchener Rangers, their specialty teams is pretty solid, whereas the Flint Firebirds have had issues with their specialty teams. So they're going to want to play some disciplined hockey here. Don't give the Rangers too many opportunities on the specialty teams. Looking at the top 5 scorers, starting with the Kitchener Rangers, Adrian Misljevic leading the way, 31 goals, 38 assists, 69 points. Trent Swick, second in team scoring, 27 goals, 34 assists, 61 points. Jack Pridham, who of course joined them from the BCHL after that NCAA vote, and he fit right in with the Kitchener Rangers, 27 goals, 27 assists, 54 points. Cameron Reed, fourth in scoring, 14 goals, 40 assists, 54 points. Reed is just something else to watch there on the blue line for the Kitchener Rangers. And then Tanner Lamb rounds out the top 5 in scoring, 13 goals, 40 assists, 53 points. Now, for the Flint Firebirds, Sam McHugh leads the way in scoring. Remember, he was acquired from the Owen Sound Attack at the OHL trade deadline. And when that trade was made, there was some speculation that McHugh might not report to the Flint Firebirds. But for Flint, good news, he reported. And boy, oh boy, he came in handy down the stretch to get this team going. 36 goals, 19 assists, 55 points. And then Caden Petrie, second in scoring with 22 goals, 31 assists, 53 points. Chris Thibodeau, who they acquired in the offseason, 22 goals, 28 assists, 50 points. Nathan Aspinall, fourth in team scoring, 17 goals, 30 assists, 47 points. And then Alex Kostov, 16 goals, 29 assists, 45 points to wrap up the top 5 in scoring. On the goaltending front, the Kitchener Rangers do have one of the better goalies in the OHL with Jackson Parsons. He had a record of 37, 12, and 3, a goals against average of 2.24, and a 920 save percentage. So Parsons, he's tough to beat. So the Firebirds, who've struggled to score, they're in tough here. And then his backup, Jason Schobel, 10-3-1 was his record, 3.40 goals against, and an 878 save percentage. On the Flint Firebirds side, Nathan Day. I do like his play. I feel as though he's a little underrated. 26, 25, and 2 is his record. 3.07 goals against and an 894 save percentage. And then backing him up, Noah Bender, who they acquired from Oshawa. 3-9 was his record with a 5.17 goals against and an 833 save percentage. So goaltending definitely leads towards the Kitchener Rangers here. And remember, Flint during the offseason doing a handful of trades as they wanted to go all in this year. They also added McHugh at the trade deadline. So this is a Flint Firebirds team that wants to go on a deep run, but kind of underachieved during the regular season. So we'll see if they can step up here come playoff time. It's not going to be easy against this Kitchener Rangers team who exceeded expectations. They were seen as a team that would be entering a rebuild, but UC Ahokas, the head coach, getting the most out of his players of the system, reaching 100 points, which is one of the best finishes in franchise history for this Kitchener Rangers team. So Kitchener, they're a deep team, and I think this series, maybe 5 or 6 games, I'm leaning towards the Kitchener Rangers in this one, but the Flint Firebirds, I would think, should make this a bit of a challenge. Now, the last time these organizations met, you have to go back to 2012 when the Kitchener Rangers defeated the Plymouth Whalers in 7 games, and that was in the second round. So this is the first time Flint and Kitchener have met. So you had to go back to the Plymouth Whalers day. And whenever I get a chance to say Plymouth Whalers, I love it because I miss their old logo. They're a fun team when they were in the Ontario Hockey League, but of course Flint now enjoying their run here since moving to Flint 10 years ago. So this series, it does start Friday at the odd. Game 2 will be on Sunday. Game 3 shifts to Flint Tuesday, April 4th or April 3rd. And then on game 4, that'll be Thursday, April 3rd. So Tuesday, April 1st, Thursday, April. I'll figure it out eventually. I've been doing so many of these preview videos. It kind of blends together. And I think we only have 2 more to go after this. So let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this series. What do you think the end result's going to be? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll talk to you again soon.